Hello everybody, welcome to Barre-Elevated. I'm Holly Rivers and we are going to get started. Today is going to be a full hour length bar class, and the equipment you need, but you don't have to have if you don't have it, is a mat if you would like one for your service, 2 light weights. I just use 2 pounds. You can use 3. I don't recommend much higher than that. But if you decide you like them, you can. And if you have a small ball, that would work as well. If you don't have a ball, it would be fine to have something about the size. This is a 6-inch diameter ball. You need something between 5 and 6 inches that you would be able to essentially place between your legs today. If you don't have anything, don't worry about it. I will give you an option for how not to do that. You also could use a chair, would be really nice to have. I have mine here that I'm going to use. I'm actually going to get these out of the way. And I'm going to use that for my balance. And the other thing is somewhere that you're going to be able to place your foot. You can either use some sort of a chair. If you use a chair, I recommend having 2 just so that you can hold on to something for balance. I'm going to use in this little room, I've got this handy window sill that I'm going to use. I'm going to place my foot up on that. When we get to that point, you can use the edge of your bed, you can use the back of a sofa. You have lots of options for what you can do. You'll want whatever it is to be about hip width height or lower, and that's going to depend on your flexibility. But we're not wanting to have our hips hiked really high. So you want to be able to have that kind of idea that it's about right here or maybe a little bit lower. If you are a seasoned and trained dancer and you want to go higher, then you are welcome to do that. You know your body much better than I do. So we're going to get started, and I, as usual, like to start on the mat on my back. So we're going to be down here taking a moment to notice how our bodies feel. Feel the weight of your head, shoulders, back, hips, and feet on the mat. Notice the relationship of your shoulders to your ears. Are you someone who has them way up high and you want to think about dripping them into the floor? And just take a deep breath in and exhale. We're going to begin by taking one palm and placing it over the back of the other hand. We're going to place those onto our belly. We're going to press those palms into the belly. Those belly muscles are going to press into the palms and push those hands up toward the ceiling. Relax your neck as you do this. You'll feel expansion in your back and your groin area. That's what you want. This is like filling up a water balloon. Keep filling it up. Keep pressing those hands up to the ceiling. If you want a little bit more work, you can add pressure of your hands into that belly to resist. Expand, keep expanding. If your breath is feeling tight, that's okay. Mine is. And we're going to release. And going again, expand that belly out. Press into those hands, pushing it up. Relax the jaw, relax the neck. Keep pressing. This is not the breath doing this. This is actual the belly muscles. And release. And expand up. Press into those hands. Expand that belly. We're activating that pelvic floor. So we're really finding those muscles that we're going to need through today's workout. And release. And one more time. Hold it up. Expand out a little bit further. And release. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Let all that air out. And again, and exhale. All right, from here, we're going to tilt our hips using the pelvic floor. So our legs are just holding themselves up. So I don't want you to really using those legs. We're going to take and contract that pelvic floor. We're going to curl and press the lower back into the mat. And release and arch up toward the ceiling. My hips are still on the mat. I'm making a nice big arch with my back. Now engage the pelvic floor muscles again. So it's like you're taking your pelvic floor and you're drawing it up into your belly from the bottom of the hips. It's as if you could take them higher, pressing that lower back into the mat. Relax the shoulders, neck, and jaw. And release and arch up to the ceiling. And we're going to go again, contract and press. This is kind of like an upside down cat-cow, for those of you familiar with yoga. And release. And again, contract and press. And release. And contract and press. And when you're releasing, you're truly releasing all those belly muscles, like you're hanging your belly out. And then last one, contract and press. Release and arch. Find a neutral spine. We're going to draw those ribs together. So there's lots of ways to think about this. You can think about knitting your ribs together. That's what I've often heard it called. But you can also think about zipping the ribs up. You're squeezing those lungs out. So essentially you're taking your rib cage and compressing it in toward the spine. While you're doing that, keep those shoulders relaxed. We're going to go down and take notice of your belly. We're going to feel like we're wrapping a corset around the organs and the spine. So we're going to engage that corset, make sure it's nice and strong. You can tap your belly to make sure it's there, and we're going to hold that. So hold your ribs and hold your belly. You should start already feeling a little bit of activity and work and heat building up here. And the stronger you get, the harder this will get, because your muscles will keep getting stronger and they'll work your body out stronger. So here we go. We're going to pick up, keeping our knees bent, we're going to pick up our right foot off the floor. Make sure you don't move your hips, so you can place your hands there to see what's happening and place it back down. Now I'll go the other side. Don't let those hips shift at all, and take it back down. Keep that belly contracted. Keep those ribs engaged as we lift and lower and lift. That corset's holding our hips in place, and lift and lower. We're working a contralateral contraction through the pelvic floor, and lift and lower again, and down and up and down. Keep it going. Keep that isometric hold of the torso, and up and down. Again and down. Keep it going and down. Our spine is in a neutral position, so if you're like me, you'll have a little bit of space between the back and the mat. So we're not tucking our hips on this one. And up. We have one more set. And up and down and up and down. From here, hold that in place. We're going to keep those ribs in, keep that corset engaged. We're going to take that right leg up further. We're going to stretch it up toward the ceiling and lower it down, not moving any part of that torso. Rotate it to the parallel and bring it back in. And we're going to lift up that left leg. We're going to press it up to the ceiling. Point all the way through the toes. Rotate to the turnout. Lower it to the floor. Without moving those hips, rotate to the parallel and bring it back in. Relax those shoulders and lift the right side. And press that heel up to the ceiling best you can. Point all the way through the foot. Rotate to the turnout and then lower that leg down. Turn it to the parallel and bring it in, keeping that torso nice and strong. And pick up the left. We're going to take that heel up to the ceiling. Press through the ball of the foot into pointed toes. Rotate to the turnout. Lower it down. Rotate to the parallel and bring it back into place. Take a deep breath in. And exhale. Let everything relax for just a moment before we do our final, well, not our final, but our, for now, final on our back abdominal exercise. So from here, again, draw those ribs in, wrap that corset nice and strong. So we have this nice strong hold. We're going to go ahead and take those arms up to the ceiling. We're going to lift the right leg, and then we're going to lift the left leg, and then find ourselves into that strong hold in the torso. So we have that corset nice and strong. Those ribs are knitted together. We're going to take the right arm and the right leg, and open up toward the floor. From here, leave your arm, but switch your legs, and then bring it all to the close. Now we're going to do the left side. So left side opens up. We're going to leave the arm, but switch the legs, and come back up. And right, so we're going from homolateral to contralateral, and back in, and left, and switch, and close, and right, and switch. If you don't get this coordination today, don't worry about it. You'll have plenty of time to redo the exercise. If you want to pause the video for a moment to work it out, it's just fine. And left, and switch. Keep those ribs in, keep that corset nice and strong, and bring the knees into the chest. Rock from side to side. And circle those knees in one direction, circle another, kind of loosening that lower back up. Getting those hips going and moving. And we're gonna bring ourselves up to standing. I'm gonna turn my mat back to parallel. I wanted you to be able to see me a little bit there. Okay, and we have arrived. We're going to take a parallel open leg stance position. We're going to take a deep breath up. Now let those ribs open, let those hips curl way back, come all the way down, and take it back up through the middle of the back. And up. I'm going to show you from the side, and stick those hips way back. And up, and deep breath in, and exhale, and inhale, two more, and last one. This time, inhale up, stay standing as you exhale. That might have built up a little bit of heat for you. We're going to grab a hold of the weights. And we're going to bring ourselves into a wide second position stance. So here's where we're going to really start looking at some stuff. We're going to have our weight a little bit forward in that front of the foot. We're not wanting the ankle to fall in, right? So as we shift our weight into the ball of the foot, we're going to also make sure that our ankle is being engaged as we do that and coming into place. If I take my weight into my foot, it automatically makes my ankle do that. If you don't have that action happening, then make sure you do it. Make sure you don't roll onto the outside of the foot. We still want to have a strong engagement of the front knuckle bone of the foot. So we have our weight is really engaged into the floor. We're lifting the kneecaps of those legs. We're going to take, so you can take and smack the lower part of your booty right here. That part of your booty is going to be reaching toward each other. And I'm not saying contract because I don't want you to squeeze those muscles into each other. I want them to reach and engage toward each other. So you want a full-on contraction, but you do want the gluteus minimus to actually come in and help support that turnout of the legs. From there, wrap the corset, knit those ribs, shoulder blades are down the back, take the arms out to the side. We're going to take the left arm up to the ceiling. You do not have to have weights if you don't want them right now. And we're going to plie through the legs as we reach up and over with the arms. And we're going to come to the side, rotate to the other side. So you can do this with no weights. You can do it with weights. You want to keep those ribs engaged together so you're having a stretch through a contraction. It's called isometric dynamic stretching. And keep it going. If you would like to add more to this exercise, as you come over, when you come back to center, go ahead and rise up on your toes and then go back down and up and up. Switching your hands each time. Last set. And bring it in, bring it to a close. We're gonna stay in the turned out position. Bring yourself into a turned out first. Same thing, weights a little bit forward. Make sure your ankles aren't collapsing, that they're actually lifted just a little bit. Lift up those kneecaps, so we want that lower part of the quadricep engaged. Bring those lower glutes together, wrap that corset, knit the ribs, shoulder blades are down the back. We're gonna go through a shoulder series. We're gonna open our knees over the toes, and we're actually gonna hold this. I want you to check in with your pelvic floor. Make sure you're not released. So if you feel your hips come back like this, you want to engage that pelvic floor. It's like you're zipping up, and you're going to point your sacrum toward the floor. So this is going to keep your hips in that natural lined up position. Don't let your feet get too wide. We just need an easy stance here. Nice, easy turnout. Not trying to be ballerinas. Draw those ribs together. Wrap that corset nice and strong. We're going to come through center. Keep those ribs in as you open out to the side. Rotate the palms face down. We're going to rotate up and down. Again, rotate through the eye of the elbow so that the whole arm is rotating through the shoulder. We're starting to lower as we go. Find that nice rotation through and down. Bring it up for a rest. And we're going to take it back in. And open one more time, and up, and 3. Start to lower, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8. If your legs start to get tired, you can do the whole thing in a straight-legged position. We're going to bring that weight forward a little bit, really lift those kneecaps, bring those glutes in and together. Stay straight-legged if you would like to, or open those knees over the toes. Check in with yourself. Make sure you didn't lose anything. Still engaged here. Still engaged in the glutes. Wrap that corset. Knit those ribs. Shoulder blades are down the back. We're going to bring our arms through center. We're going to take them to the side. Rotate down. Keep your elbows in line with your shoulders as you squeeze your shoulder blades together, keeping that shoulders down, and expand. And 2. Expand. And 3. And 4, and 5, 6. We're only doing one set of these, and 7, and last one, 8. Bring it down, straighten those legs. We're going to do a shoulder roll to the back. And we're going to bring it to the front. All right, take a deep breath in. And exhale, open those knees again, check in, make sure you're zipping up that lower belly in the pelvic floor, so we're not letting those hips fall back. We're actually really thinking about drawing in and up so that we keep the sacrum pointing to the floor. If you've ever seen the sacrum, it looks like an arrowhead. Draw those ribs in. And we're going to go through a port-de-bras series. We're going to come through our center. Take the arms almost over the head, but they're a little bit to the front. We're going to open to the side and take it down and come through center. Don't go all the way up. You should be able to see the hands in the periphery vision. And 2, and up. Keep the shoulders down the whole time. So we're not wanting this to happen. We want to have those shoulders really nice and low. And we'll reverse it. Take it to the side. If your legs are getting tired, go ahead and come up. And 2. Keep that pelvic floor engaged. There's a reason we activate it at the beginning of class and let ourselves take a moment to find it. And bring it down and up and shake it out. At any point, you can take your weights and place them down, but we're going to hang on to them for a little bit longer if you so choose. All right, so we're in our turned out parallel position again. We have our arms are going to come up and over our head. We're going to open up into our second position. Find ourselves here. Keep those arms nice and strong. Don't let them droop down. Really think about lifting the elbows up and pulse. 1, 2, 3, 4. And press it up to bring it into the close. Go with the other leg. We take it out and we have 1, 2, 3. Make sure that's engaged and press to the close. And out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Press. Bring it in. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Up. If this is a too much, you can just kind of come up and drag your foot in if you don't want to go all the way off the floor. 1, 2, 3, 4. Press. And side. 1, 2, 3, 4. Up. Again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Up. And side. 1, 2, 3, 4. Press. Last set. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. Press. I think it's less set. I usually try to do 8 each side. I lost count. It happens. And press. And bring it to the close. All right, take it down. I'm going to place my weights down this time. And we're going to come into parallel stance. So I want your hands on your hips for this. If you start to get to where you really know what's happening with your hips, you're welcome to do that. By the way, grab your chair if you have it. You do not have to do this with something to hold on to. If you do it with just balancing, it will be a little bit harder, but this can be like a little safety for you if you want to have something to hold on to. So we have our parallel position. We're going to take our leg out to the front. We call this a tendu. Press all the way through the toe. We have a nice strong leg here. We also have a nice strong standing leg. We're not going to let ourselves sit down. We're going to actually, again, lift up that hip, take that glute, reach it toward the other side. Weights in the ball of the foot so we have this strong standing leg. We're going to flex that front foot, bend both knees, and press through. And again, we call this a fondue. And 3. Again, you can have both hands here. If you start to feel comfortable that your hips not, I don't want this to happen. I want your hips to stay nice and square. Press through. If you start feeling good about that, you can also do this. You can hold weights. There's a lot of options for how you can make it more difficult. Keeping this parallel. And one more. And take it out. Really reach that long and bring it in. All right, we're going to take it to the other side. Tendu to the side. Make sure your foot doesn't get lag behind. We want to really point through that inside. Really lengthen that leg away. We're in the parallel, so make sure your leg's not turned out. It's the knee is facing directly front. And plie. And press it away. And 2. Press it away. Lift here. Make sure that pelvic floor is engaged. 4. And 5. 6. 7. And last one, 8. And bring it in. And shake that out a little bit. We're going to go to the other side. So you can just move your chair. I have this really nice, light, antique chair that I like using because it's easy for me to move around. You might have a heavy chair. If that's the case, you can always just turn around and do it to the other side. Move your camera how you need to. Or I have the camera. You have a video. All right, so we're on the other leg. We have that nice parallel position. Again, those glutes are engaged. Go ahead and think about that standing leg. It's strong. You always want to think about the standing leg is very strong. It's actually the working leg. We're moving and having a little party with the one leg that's getting to have some fun out here. The other leg is having to hold nice and strong, okay? Make sure those glutes are engaged. Knit those ribs together. We have the shoulders are down the back, so we're not hunched here. We're not hunched way back like this either, which flares the ribs. Bring those ribs in. Shoulders down. Hand on the hip here. Whatever you'd like to do, you can even do it here if you're love to have the heart center hands. So from here, try and do that foot out. And we're going to flex that foot and bend and press through. And 2. Now on that standing leg, make sure you're not letting it go all wonky. Keep that knee above the ankle and the midline of the foot. Make sure the hips are square. If you don't get it just right today, don't worry about it. That's what practice is for. Practice makes you better. It helps you get alignment that works for your body. And this is our last one. And pressing through, really lengthen that leg long and bring it in. We're gonna take it to the side. We take out. And from here, flex that foot, bend, and lengthen away. And 2, nice strong abdominals. We're not letting ourselves fall way over. We're lengthening up toward the ceiling. Two more, we got it. One more. I don't know about you, I'm a little shaky today. Bring it in. I did one of those lovely quarantine online dance classes, a Horton technique, and whoo, I am feeling it. We are back to the first side. We're gonna turn out into that first position. So again, this is an easy turnout. So really don't think you have to wrench it up into those hips. We just want to be open. So it doesn't have to be, if your open is here, that's just fine. If it's here, I rarely work beyond a 90-degree angle with my feet, or 45 if you're thinking from this around. I just don't think it's necessary to go beyond that. So we have our corset is nice and strong, so we have this nice engagement here. Bring those hips toward each other. Remember, we have this strong standing leg. Weight the ball of the foot into the floor. Lift up that kneecap. Shoulders are down the back. We're not here. We're not there. We've got those ribs in. Shoulders down. As we take time, do that leg out to the front, and we're gonna bend through and press it away. Take that leg as far away as you can. And 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and last one, 8. Lengthen, 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 and bring it in. We're going to take it to the side. Now, when we are in this turned out position, side does not mean directly side. You don't want to go here. Look what just happened to my hips, and it twisted in my knee. I want to actually be on the same angle as my foot. So look at your toes. They're pointing in the right direction. And we're going to take it out. And we're going to flex. And press. And 2. Strong, open that knee over the toes. Engage that pelvic floor. And 3. And 4. And 5, 6, 7, last one, 8, lengthen, 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 and bring it in. All right, back to the other side. Whew, I'm feeling it, y'all. All right, hands on the hips, or again, you can be wherever you like to be. As you get stronger, you can make your own choices. You know your body better than I do. I can't even see your body. All right, we're gonna take that front leg out. Point through, really reach that away. Strong standing leg as we flex to the bend and press through. Notice my hips are not moving. I'm not letting this happen. And out. Those ribs are together. And 3. And 4. And 5. If you don't want to go so deep in your bend, you can go there. If you want to go much deeper, you certainly can do that as well. Find what works for you. 2 more. Last one. And lengthen through as you bring it back in. All right. On the left side or the other side, whichever leg you're doing. We're going to take it on that diagonal again. Draw those ribs in, really reach those glutes toward each other. Lift up those kneecaps, take that leg out to the side, but on your diagonal side, I should say. Flex and then really let that rotation happen, and then rotate to the straight and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5. So I think I'm going to be sort of more on 6, and 7. Last one, 8. And bring it in. We're having one of those ambitious days. All right, you can shift your chair around toward the front. I'm going to do it kind of to the side so you can see what I'm doing here. You don't have to have a chair if you don't want to. We're going to take one leg back behind us, press that heel into the floor, take the front leg and bend it toward the front, and lengthen long through the spine, press that back leg, heel into the floor. We have a little moment we're going to stretch our legs out. Straighten that front leg. For me, I need to bring my back leg in a little bit. You can too, but you might not need to. Flex the front foot, bend that back knee, pull the hips back as you flex the front foot. But essentially you want to keep these square. I have to bring that in, otherwise my hip stays back. So I need to be able to have my hip forward in that way. From here, depending on how you get to hold yourself, you can either be here, go as far forward as you want to. You can use this and you can lengthen through. Make sure you're folding at the hips though, don't round in the back. We're trying to keep a nice straight spine, so find where that is for you. And release, bring that weight front. We're gonna reach down and grab our ankle and drop our knee toward the floor. If you cannot do this, you can take and do something like this and just kind of make an adjustment where you press through that hip. We're trying to open the quadricep and open that front hip a little bit. If you have a band or a strap, you can put it around your ankle and hold that up as well. And if none of that works with your knees, then you can find something else to do in place of this. And release that. We're going to cross that leg, take the ankle above the knee of the standing leg, sit back on the hips and open this knee out to the side. Again, we have a nice straight spine. We're not going to curl here. So wherever you need to be to keep that spine straight is where you want to be. And release that and come up. We're going to go to the other side. I'm going to shift around so that I'm open again to you. We're going to take that foot back, bend that front knee, nice, long, straight spine. And from there, if you need, bring that foot in a little bit. We're going to bend the back knee, flex the foot, and pull back again. Nice, long, straight spine. Wrap that corset. You can go ahead and knit those ribs during this as well. And release that. Again, we're going to pick up that back foot, make any adjustments you need to. Or you can spend a moment just chilling. There's never a problem. I do it all the time when I do videos. I'm like, I'm going to chill out for a minute. I love child's pose. It's my favorite. And release, cross that over and sit back. And move back a little bit. Again, straight spine, really lengthen through, folding at the hips. Open up that knee. This just is a nice stretch through the outside the hips that we're working quite a bit. You're also probably giving your same leg a workout right now. This is not an easy stretch series. And release. All right, I'm gonna put my chair to the side and I'm gonna come back on the angle with my mat so you can see me a little bit better. And we're gonna come back to the floor. You're gonna wanna have your ball near you to grab a hold of when I tell you to. You don't have to have a ball. It's just nice to have one. You'll have a little bit more work if you have it, but it's not necessary. And we're gonna find ourselves in that starting position. Just take a moment to check in, to feel the weight of your head. What feels the same? What feels different? Nice, easy breath. We're gonna take a moment to calm our adrenals down. All right, so from here, if you want that ball, you can grab a hold of it. We're gonna lift the legs up. We're gonna place the ball directly between those knees, and we're gonna press those knees into it. Point through the toes. You don't have to do this. It just takes in a little bit more, and I wanna bring those toes in and together, but I actually wanna do it in a way where it looks like the ankles are reaching toward each other. So not like this. So we don't want that. We actually want the ankles reaching in as well. So we have those pointed feet, the ankles are reaching in, we're squeezing that ball nice and strong. We're gonna take the knees directly above our hips and our arms are out to the side. We're gonna draw those ribs in. So we're not gonna let ourselves be flared up here. We're gonna actually take those ribs, pressing the spine into the floor. And we're gonna engage the shoulder blades on the mat. From here, we're gonna take it to the side. Only go as low as you can without losing that shoulder off the mat. And bring it back up. If you're like me, I always get a free adjustment when I do this one. And up, and 2. Bring it up, and 3. And 4. And 5. And 6. 7. And 8. Keep it going. I think I messed up on my counting. It happens. We're gonna just do one more set. And this is our last one. And bring it back to center, bring it in. Give yourself a rest for a moment. That's one of those practices that we have of trying to stay focused. And sometimes we don't. Sometimes I lose count. As long as you do it even on each side, that's fine. All right, from here, we're gonna take our legs up toward the ceiling. We're gonna rotate to that turned out position. And we're gonna open and place the ball between the thighs. You can just stay like this the whole time. So you're gonna have your legs closed and not the knees bent. But you can place that ball between the thighs, and you can either stay out like this if you want to, or you can bend those knees, bring the heels together. We're pointing through the toes, press those heels into each other. We're squeezing the thighs in. So we should have a lot of work happening in our legs already. From here, we're gonna engage those Kegel muscles, the pelvic floor, curl and press that lower back in the mat. And it's already probably pressed in the mat, but I want you to take it a little bit more with that pelvic floor. We're not gonna let the back come off the mat, okay? We're going to draw those ribs in, lift the shoulders up, and you can either take your arms low here, you can take them behind the head, or you can take them up over the head. I'm gonna choose to let my head cradle into my hands. Squeeze those legs in each other, press that belly into the lower back into the floor, and take it down. And bring it up. And 2. And up. And 3. If you're shaking while you're doing this, you're doing it right. And 4. And 5. By the way, you can tell that I love purple. It's my favorite color. I don't have my purple ball though here. It's at my studio. 7 and 8. Bring it in and take it down. Place that to the side, give yourself a little hug. And bring yourself up to standing. I'm going to take my mat back to my parallel. All right. And here we are. We are in that feet at the hip width position again in the parallel. We're going to do a standing contract release. Sometimes I tell people to think about a standing cat-cow from yoga because that's all we're doing. As we move through each of them, we're going to be bending and straightening our legs, okay? So from here, we're going to reach our arms back. We're going to pull through toward that back wall. We're going to take it up. Keep your legs straight as you open and then bend around again. So we're making a nice big circle with our hands. Let those ribs open up. This should feel pretty good after using them in that contracted state the way we've been doing. Press in the middle of the ribs toward that back wall. So it'll look like this. And up. And again. And up. 2 more. And last one. All right, we're back and ready to be up. All right, grab a hold of your weights. We're gonna bring ourselves into a closed leg position. So this is going to be in a yoga stance where we are squeezing those legs in, wrap that corset into the ribs and the shoulders are down the back. So we have this nice, strong positioning of the legs. We're going to take the arms and we're going to stretch long and down to the floor, press to the eye of the elbow. You do not need weights to do this. If you just move your arms in a contracted state, you'll get a lot out of it. The weights just give you a little bit more. And if you want to go a little bit higher than 2 pounds, feel free to do so. Lift your weights up and arms up behind your hips. We're going to come into a chair pose. Keep it, the fold is happening at the hips, so we have nice long spine. Engage that corset, engage that pelvic floor, knit those ribs together. And from here, pulse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hold on, 8. From here, we're gonna curl, press it in. Leave the upper arm in place and press away. This is where the work is. And curl and press and 3. Nice and slow. We're keeping our muscles contracted through all the movement. Long spines. And last one. And bring yourself up. All right, from here, we're gonna rotate into that turned out position. Weights in the balls of the feet. Lift those kneecaps, wrap the corset, knit the ribs, shoulders are down the back. We're gonna bend our arms into 90 degrees. We're gonna keep this shape of our arms. As we lift to the side, make sure that your elbow doesn't drop down. So you want the elbow and the shoulder more in line, and the wrist is either in line or a little bit lower, okay? All right, here we go. We're gonna go into that plie. Make sure those glutes are engaged to support your turnout as we go 1 and up and 2. Shoulders are drawing down the back. 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7, 1 more, 8, and breathe. All right, open into that wide second position. We have the weights and the balls of the feet. Lift up those kneecaps, wrap the corset, knit the ribs, shoulders are down the back. From here, we're gonna come through the center. We're gonna take the arms all the way up. Keep those shoulder blades pulled down. Now come in to your goalpost arms. And we're gonna actually take and face our hands toward that, where there's a rotation through the forearm right here. All right, we're gonna press those weights out of the ceiling. Don't draw your shoulders up as you do so, and don't let your elbows drop below those arms. Weights in the balls of the feet, lift those kneecaps, engage those glutes as we plie. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7, last one, and 8. All right, open, take it down. All right, weights to the side. And there are ways that you can hang on to the weights if you want to, but we're not going to. We're gonna grab a hold of our chair, and we're gonna do a little lunge series before we finish out with our stretching. All right, so we're in that parallel position. We have the corsets nice and strong, those ribs are knitted together. We still wanna think about that sacrum point in the floor, engage those lower glutes. We're gonna take that outside leg, we're gonna step it back behind. We're gonna step back far enough so that when we take the knee to the floor, keeping the knee, the hips, and the shoulder in line with each other, and then press up into passe, point through that foot, you'll get a lot more work out of it, and then take it back, 2, and press, and 3. We are pushing the floor away, press that floor away, and 4, press, and 5, press, and 6. Slow and control. You get a little bit more work out of it than moving super fast and speedy. And last one, up on 8. This time we're gonna find a balance here. Bring your hands to your heart. You can just do this, just kind of keep testing yourself there, or you can take it all the way up. 5th on O. Find that balance. A little shaky. If you want to be super adventurous, you can start to rise up. See if you can get up onto your toe. I can't today, apparently. There we go. And take it down. Oh, lost my balance there. All right, other side. All right, so here we are again in the parallel position. We're really wrapping that corset, lengthen through, knit those ribs together. We're gonna take that leg back behind us. Again, take the knee toward the floor. You don't have to go that deep. If this is all you do, that's just fine. Press up into the passe. And 2. Passing it through. And 3. That's what passe means, pass. And press the floor away. Really press the floor away. It's going to make a big difference for the strength in that leg, getting you stronger. Here's our last one. And bring it up. We're going to hold. Again, you can do it at the heart and find yourself up 5th on O. And from here, if you would like, you can rise. This leg's a little bit stronger than my other one. Whew, I'm gonna stay down. I used to be able to do that. And bring it down. All right, shake it out. Okay, so this is where my handy little window pane is gonna come in place. If you wanna use a chair, you can actually hold on to a wall and you can use the chair like this. So there's lots of options here. But essentially, we're gonna want to think about our bodies flat. We're in that turned out position. Remember to find that angle that you're on. I'm gonna have to get a little further away from my bar. And you don't wanna have your leg way back behind you, so you don't wanna be twisting the hips, because remember, we wanna have these hips are nice and as square as they can be. Knit those ribs together. We're still what we call up on our leg, weights in the ball of the foot. Lift that kneecap, engage that lower glute. This is all working really hard. We just get a nice stretch here. If you want to, you can point through the foot. I'm not gonna be able to because of the nature of what I've got. I'm gonna flex through my foot so that I have a strong isometric engagement of my leg. You can also just relax it and let it be a static stretch if you would like. You'll get more out of it if you make it nice and strong though. Strong leg standing. We're gonna keep those ribs together as we reach this arm out. Go up toward the ceiling first and then reach the shoulder toward that knee. This is called a bar stretch. It's my favorite kind of stretching. It's a little easier when you have a bar, but you make do. I used to do this on a couch when I was young and in training and dance all the time. I'd use the back of the sofa. We're gonna keep holding it. Keep those bellies engaged, keep those ribs knitted together, really working through that rib cage. Think about your neck being long and on the curve. And bring that up. Now from here, we're gonna take our hips, our knee and our foot, in other words, the whole leg, and we're gonna rotate to where we're facing that leg. And from here, keeping those hips square, we're not, we have that nice easy turnout of the leg. We've shifted our turnout. Knit those ribs together, long spine, and we're gonna take our arm up, and we're gonna bring ourselves forward that leg. You can keep it here with your flat back and really get into the hamstring, or if you would like, you can go ahead and take it all the way over. Nice lengthening through the neck here. Relax your jaw. I just noticed that mine was super tense. And bring yourself up. Take that leg off the bar. From here, I'm going to use you don't have to do this, I'm going to use my chair because I like doing it with a support. We're going to take the one leg, whichever one, just remember which one you use, back behind you, and we're gonna come forward, dripping that hip toward the floor. I want you to have those abdominals are engaged. We have the ankle is underneath that front knee. And you can use your support here if you want, or if you want to, you can take it down and have an low lunge on the floor. Whatever works for you. Don't let that belly flop out. Really engage it. It's active in this. And release that. We're going to bring our hips up. So for now, you have your hips are directly above your knee, maybe a little bit back so you not have all the weight on the top of that. Put some of the weight back here. From here, you're going to shift how you need to flex that foot. Keep the hips square now as you come into a fold over that front leg. Pulling the hips back a little bit more. All of my weight is more in the back, not in the front of my knee. And if you want to really get a little bit more out of this, you can take your arms up and over, whatever it is, and open those shoulders, taking it all the way through. Whatever feels best with your body. And release through, bring yourself up to standing, and we're gonna go on the other side. So now you're gonna get to see me do it from the back, just so that I can get on this other side. I'm gonna take my leg up onto the bar. So again here, think about that back hip is engaged. We're lifting in the kneecap, weights on the ball of the foot. And from here, we're gonna take our arm up and then reach over, lengthening through that rib cage. strong standing leg. This is an active stretch. It's not willy-nilly. And bring that up. From here, I'm going to take that whole hip, face it toward that, and then I'm going to take the arm long up and toward that leg. Again, you can stay here and work a little bit more in the hamstring, or if you want to, you can bring yourself on over. Still have that strong standing leg. And bring that up, take that leg off, whatever support it has. And we're going to go with the other leg back behind. Bring that ankle underneath the front knee. And again, take that hip toward the floor. You don't have to have a chair. You can do this if you want. I like to have the extra support. Remember not to let that hang out. Really engage that pelvic floor and those abdominals. We're supporting our hip here. And release that. We're going to pull those hips back. Make any adjustments that you need to. Flex that front foot as you straighten that leg. Make sure you keep your hips square. As you pull them back a little bit, again, you can just kind of stay here. I like to extend my arms over whatever support I have and lengthen through those shoulders and press it through. Make sure you're keeping that spine nice and long, folding at the hips for this position. And release that. I'm going to take my chair to the side. We're going to stay down. I'm going to open the knees up and bring our feet together. We're going to find ourselves into child's pose. If this child's pose doesn't feel good, you can bring your legs together and be here. If child's pose is too much on your knees, you can put a pad behind it, or you can just kind of keep yourself up in puppy. You can be here. Make any adjustments that you need. Breathing into the quiet. And walk your hands under your shoulders. We're going to tuck our toes, press the hips up to the ceiling. And either walk your hands back or walk your feet forward, finding yourself in forward fold. From here, we're gonna bend our knees. I want you to think about your tailbone reaching toward the floor. As that happens, relax your shoulders and your head. We're gonna uncurl the spine one at a time, all the way up to standing. If you can't do that, then you can always come up any other way that works for you. From here, we're gonna take 3 breaths to complete our practice. Palms meet at the top this time, and they come down to the heart. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for doing your practice and taking care of yourselves. Feel better, stay active, and age with grace.